Hey viewers, and welcome to Finn and me's first video. Today, we'll be talking about inflation and what it means for you. Finn and me aims to provide the basics for people with no experience in this field. Let's kick off this video by explaining what inflation is in the first place. To help you understand inflation, let's show you a scenario using the characters of Finn and me. Introducing Finn, Nancy, and Mimi. 500 rupees for a cup of coffee? That's way too much.
Yes, that's a lot. Costs are going up so quickly. After COVID and the lockdown, many items have become expensive.
That, my dear friends, is what you call the scourge of inflation. Money losing value?
Costs going up?
Both are correct. Both are two sides of the same coin. This is scary. Hopefully my salary hike from April will take care of the rising costs. How much was the salary hike this year? Not much. They quoted the disruption due to the pandemic and only gave 5%. Inflation is roughly expected to be around 6% this year. So my salary is not even growing as much as inflation then. Nope.
That actually sounds like the value of your salary on hand this year is less than what you had last year.
So, what about you, Nancy?
I will be getting a 10% hike. I have already bought the latest glittering shoes on Amazon. The extra money over the next 3 months will be barely enough to pay my credit card bill.
This is very scary. How do I save up for my Europe backpacking trip in 3 years if inflation keeps eating at my money's value?
Just spend during your travels with your credit card and keep paying EMI. Better to spend it before it loses value, isn't it?
As tempting as that might be, you shouldn't spend money that you don't have. You're needlessly paying interest to the bank on your EMI, which is in addition to inflation. You're a slave to the bank as well as your job. So what should we do? I need to save up for my sister's wedding in a few years as well. Okay, imagine a leaky bucket. One that leaks a constant stream of water, not just droplets. You're expected to fill up the bucket and use it to water 3 plants in your garden. The first one is right next to the water tap, the second one is a few steps away in the balcony, and the third one is quite a few steps away in the garden down a long flight of stairs.
Can I seal the bucket with Fevicol or M-Seal?
Unfortunately, you can't. You have to fill the leaky bucket and water all 3 plants. So, it sounds like the longer I need to walk, the more water that will leak from the bucket, right? Correct. Inevitably, the leak won't matter much for the plant which is right next to the tap. You'll have enough water despite the leak to water the plant properly. You'll lose quite a bit of water while you take the bucket to the second plant in the balcony, but you still might have enough water for that plant as well. But as you keep walking down the long flight of stairs, you'll leak a lot of water and may not have enough for the third plant in the garden.
So, what's the relation with inflation?
Inflation is like the leak in the bucket. Your income is the water tap. The 3 plants are your financial goals: near term, medium term, and long term.
Ah, got it.
Does this only happen in India? If you live in a place like Singapore, the leak is quite small, perhaps a few droplets every few seconds. You may not even realize it. Whereas in developing countries like India, inflation is a slightly larger leak. If you fill up your bucket of water and leave it for a few days, it will lose quite a bit of water. Understood. So what should I do for saving money for my Euro trip in 3 years, my sister's wedding in 7 years, and buying a house in 15? Going back to our leaky bucket analogy, save your money in FDs for short-term goals within the next 3 years. The effect of the leak or inflation won't be sufficiently noticeable, but would be good to save a little more than you think you need based on today's prices. That's all. So if I expect the budget for the Euro trip being 1.5 lakhs, it's good to save up 2 lakhs just in case. But FDs are enough? Yes, whereas really long-term goals like retirement, buying a house, and long-term wealth building cannot be done by saving your money in FDs and RDs. FDs are also like a leaky bucket, where you're given a free mug of water which covers a little less than the water you lost due to the leak.
Plus, the government also takes a third of a mug of water away as taxes.
That's so scary. So what should we do then? Hence, for such truly long-term goals, you need a bucket called equity mutual funds and a bucket called debt mutual funds with the right choice of investment instruments and periodic monitoring to balance the water between the two. This will ensure that you get enough water replenished through the mugs to compensate for at least as much, or if you are lucky, a little bit more than what you lost to the leaks.
And the taxes?
Both equity and debt mutual funds are more tax efficient than FDs. As per current rules, you pay only 10% of your profits from equity as taxes and only for the amount above 1 lakh if you're selling after 1 year. For debt mutual funds, it's even better, as you're given the benefit of indexation, which means the profits are adjusted for inflation. Oh, so the taxes will be lower than FDs? Definitely.
I don't understand how any of this works.
Don't worry, you can always outsource all this to professionals like Finn and Me Wealth Partners. But right now, there's a bigger problem to solve. Who's gonna pay for this extremely expensive inflationary coffee? So, inflation is the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time. Inflation is typically a broad measure, such as the overall increase in prices or the increase in cost of living in a country. Inflation is the rate at which the value of a currency is falling, and consequently the general level of prices for goods and services is also rising. While it's easy to measure the price changes of individual products over time, human needs extend beyond just 1 or 2 products. Individuals need a big and diversified set of products as well as a host of services for living a comfortable life. This includes commodities such as food, grains, metal, fuel, and more. Inflation aims to measure the overall impact of price changes for a diversified set of products and services. This allows for a single value representation of the increase in price level of goods and services in an economy over a period of time. That was all for this video. Hope you enjoyed and understood what inflation was. To watch more informative videos like this on personal finance, hit the subscribe button below. Also, check out our website or connect with us on social media. We're happy to talk to you and help you simplify your relationship with money. That was all for this video, and see you next time.